Hi, I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys a preview of the current version of question 3. So when you take it for the first time, you have some idea of what it looks like and what kind of information will be available to you. Let's go ahead and start off with the data that you have available. So I'm looking at this particular table right here. The assets are arranged A, B, C, D in rows rather than columns. And what I'm showing you here is the cash flows in each one of the time periods. So, for example, asset A, which I've now highlighted, it'll cost you $2 in time period 0. You receive nothing in time period 1, nothing in time period 2, nothing in time period 3. In period 4, you receive a benefit of $8. I have on purpose blanked out these values in time period 2 for the other assets B, C, and D, just trying to make it so that I can force you later on to use the internal rate of return criteria. Now there's also present worths for each of these assets are calculated for you. Please note that you can't actually do these except for asset A because you're missing this information that's in time period 2 right here. And I've also gone ahead and calculated the most relevant internal rates of return for assets B, C, and D. And I've left the internal rate of return for asset A blank because that's the one I'm actually going to have you calculate for us. What we have over here are those incremental internal rates of return that we discussed before, because eventually you're going to have to use the exclusive choice algorithm to get to. And the way to read it is that this value right here, this 5.69 is actually a percent. It represents, it's the incremental internal rate of return of going from asset A to asset C. And you may have seen this before as the C less A internal rate of return. This would be the incremental internal rate of return for going from asset A to asset D. The one that's negative infinity right here just means it's just kind of bad, and I've blanked out all these below. Now, you may perhaps need some of these equations for a constant series later on, and you can figure out which one it is that you're supposed to use. But here's the first question. What is the internal rate of return for asset A? And so given this data right here, go ahead and calculate the internal rate of return. The next question is, at a minimum acceptable rate of return 10%, a requirement to provide 12 years of service, which asset would you choose? Please remember, anytime that you see asset singular, we're talking about exclusive choice. So you've got assets that last 2 years, assets that last 1 year, asset lasts 3 and 4. Well, what you have to do is stack them together end to end in order to provide 12 years of service. So which one is the correct one? The next one is, if you need to have no service requirements, which one would you choose? And the idea is you're buying one of these assets and not chaining them together as you do in question number 2. And finally, with question number 4 is, I've given you an entirely different internal rate of return. The idea is that you can't possibly calculate all the present worths, and so you are stuck using that exclusive choice algorithm for internal rates of return. I hope this is helpful and that you pass this particular essential question on the first try.